Uh, I think Santhil has made my job relatively little easy. He has already covered in last 2 or 3 slides about the publicity. I'll take up from there and continue to move forwards. And as we understand, this is one topic which can take hours and hours to discuss, and still the time might fall short. So having understood that, we'll try to cover up the basic important points. And one thing which he has already covered, will the urban or the rural area make some difference? Yes, it will certainly make some difference depending upon the place and the application of the practice that you are going to start with. But it will also vary from a solo practice to the group practice or the corporate practice or institutional practice. I will try and deal with some of the salient points and take home away messages as far as possible in this connection, in this particular topic. Right. Now, the first thing I think everyone has to understand, that all these years, maybe barring the last 1 or 2 decades, we had been dependent only on the mouth-to-mouth publicity. And there have been questions which are raised. Is it slow? Is it outdated? Maybe possibly it is still slow, but I still rate mouth-to-mouth publicity as one of the most important factor in increasing the footfall. What I really believe, that some innovation in mouth-to-mouth publicity is required, like make a happy patient your brand ambassador, or you make a group of patients like LASIK alumni, and they themselves will interact with each other, and they can be the people who will propagate your center to the other patients as well, which will certainly be a more valid factor for increasing your footfall. Electronic media comes next today. Though we all understand that barring refractive practice, our major practice is a geriatric practice. But the role of younger generation in the family cannot be ruled out today. They all search on internet and Google search. There are ways in which you can prioritize yourself, make an important person yourself on the Google search or on internet by payment, and that will possibly add to your publicity. Website, you need to update on a regular interval and see to it that it is most updated website, because they invariably visit your website. You can put plenty of testimonials from your patients, because that is something which is always looked for, and the starring that they have given, the amount of value that they have given to your institution and your treatment does carry a point for the person who is coming down to you for the first time. With a consent of a patient, happy patient, maybe you can even share their contact details on such a group, so that one-to-one interaction will help the new patient to come to you. It is easy to upload your videos today, either on the YouTube or on your giving a link on your website, and they should be easy to understand videos. All recent activities that you are conducting can also be displayed over there. Santhil has already touched upon the social groups like Rotary, Lions, Giants Club, and so many NGOs, especially in the city levels and metropolitan cities. I think for a beginner, it is important to join such groups and start their practice at a separate place, primarily because that gives you wider exposure, as well as you remain in contact with many other ophthalmologists who can also help you and guide you. Other medical fraternity who enter into full body checkup, you can also participate along with them. So that way you can always have patients from the other branches of medicine as well. I think eye bank and eye donation awareness lectures is one of the very important thing which you can always utilize, so that you can spread yourself, make yourself known to large number of people by these such lectures. It's also important, we have tried it in our this thing, that we, when we take such a lecture, we request them to have our numbers handy giving them kind of a small sticker of your address or a business card, which they can paste either on the notice board of the society or in their own home at a place. Because in emergency, most of the time, new patients don't find your telephone number. So this is one way which you can propagate yourself and which is ethical. I think newspaper also has got a role to play in today's scenario, but we will distribute it in three different ways. One thing as far as the newspaper is concerned is you can write columns in the newspaper if you have an access to that particular thing. Announcing the events like World Health Day and kind of a publicity that you would like to derive from it can also be done almost free of cost in the newspapers. A leaflet given in the newspaper in a local area has got immediate response, and usually you recover more money than what you have spent in such advertisements. You need to analyze very well that which leaflet has given you a best result, and next time onwards you can try and propagate that particular newspaper in that localized area. However, the advertising itself, direct advertising itself in the newspaper is really an expensive affair. Unless and until you have multiple hospitals and multiple cities where you are practicing, such thing may not be very productive. But in any case, if you have multiple centers, then possibly this is also one of the ways in which you can go ahead. There have been dispute over the free camps. As we understand, there are people who say that there cannot be a free camp, there can be a free camp. But I believe that a free camp also can be sponsored by somebody. And for a beginner, this might be a good option to create the footfall for him. You need to select the area where there is a deficient service. Sporadic camp, in my opinion, may not help much. But if you are regularly making a camp in one localized area, that possibly will give you a recognition in that particular area, and you will be able to make a good usage of that particular event. You will have follow-up of the patients, you will have new patients coming from there. Just important note, take care not to affect the practice of your colleagues. Should you have free OPD? I think one can have a free OPD in the same premises only on one day. You can allot that. But my belief is that subsidized OPD can totally replace the free OPD in today's scenario. One has to evaluate its worth in today's scenario for sure. We often attend charitable clinics run by the NGOs. Here we are almost giving our free service, earning a peanut amount from the institution. Why not do it in our own clinic? At least we will be able to have the goodwill and the benefits of that particular practice allotted to us and not going to that NGO or that institution. A vision center is a very, very good option to propagate yourself. You just need about a 1 lakh rupee investment. You can have a free place as well. Like for example, Saturdays and Sundays schools are off. You can request a local school to give you a hall for about a year, for about an hour or so. The staff needed is also relatively low. You need one trained optometrist and a good counselor. It is almost like a telemedication, which we are of late practicing due to the COVID situation. This can help to improve the quality of the footfall, because all the people who need minor things like refraction are taken care at the vision center, and the surgical work can come, so you can concentrate more on that. Attachments with services like Procto, Just Dial, etc. I think in a beginning it is group, but eventually they also start dictating their terms on you. Public education lectures and fellowship training programs are really very good options. So various schemes which people have been trying to allocate is to free checkup for the relatives of a premium surgery patient. Also, there are family benefit schemes like the disorders like glaucoma, myopia, hereditary disorders, retinitis pigmentosa, and so on are in family. You can always propagate seeing one patient to request him that your family can be checked up at a concessional rate or some such thing. However, there is a warning by me: don't stoop down to the level of buy one, get one free. These fellowship programs, if we see over here, then you have a teacher. What you need possibly by training programs and fellowship program is only the teacher, either for the optometrist or a ophthalmologist who can teach the students. That will, those students will make a good HR force for you for various activities like Vision Center and like other charitable activities or a semi-charitable activity which you will do. That will create a surgical workload for you, which is either free or a subsidized. That surgical workload can help you for fellowship training program. Yes, I'll just take a half a minute. And such educational research activities can be done because you have mass number of patients over here, which will allow you to have either the research activity or the educational activity, which itself will support these teachers. That is the way you can probably go on in this particular way. And that is my last slide. To summarize, select what is applicable in your practice. Proper audit will tell you what works best in your hand. Modifications will be required as you grow on, and as you grow, more and more innovative ideas will come once you grow, and your modality to propagate yourself will also change. World has become very competitive. Corporate sectors are rapidly growing. We will have to change with the changing time, especially right now in Corona effect. We have already learned and we have already developed our new normals. So that is something which we have to understand. And lastly, the survival of the fittest is the best policy that we need to understand. Thank you very much for your kind attention.